Hi, everybody. So, thanks for tuning in. This is Buttercup, a teen feral catermelon who is giving birth for the last time. And we think probably for the first time also. She and her brother were trapped from a property nearby, and so we've been caring for them, and so that she could have her kittens in a safe place, and so that she and her kittens could all be spayed and neutered. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me see. I'll turn this up. Is that better? I am doing the voiceover from another room. So as not to disturb. So this is, so Buttercup just began active labor. This is on a delay because, well, for lots of reasons. We've had lots of difficult births and situations in the last couple of weeks, if you've been following along. And I just wanted to make sure that things were going to go okay. And so the video clip you guys saw that I posted was of the first kitten, which she's starting to try to push out now. So I apologize if that's confusing, but my anxiety level and exhaustion level is very high lately after our little preemie kittens and Kiwi's birth. And so I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to be another really hard to watch situation. So she's having some nice strong contractions now. So maybe we'll make it a little less stressful for you guys watching too, to know that that things are going to be okay in the end. So those are some nice strong contractions. She's a young cat and she's healthy, and she's been here long enough that she's had some really good nutrition and deworming. And so that makes her stronger and puts her in a better position to have a smooth birth. The only challenge is that she has had unlimited excellent nutrition, and that means sometimes bigger babies. So there's always a worry that the babies might be too big. She might not be able to push them out. So we're always a little anxious around birth time, but I do think it's important to show the reality of animal rescue and cat overpopulation, and that pregnancy is hard and giving birth is really, really hard. And for feral cats especially, when they give birth in the wild, only 25% of their kittens survive. And so they have to go through loss after loss after loss. It's really hard on their bodies. And we see lots of cats come in that are a few years older than Buttercup that are just so depleted. So it's really important to spay and neuter, because you can avoid situations like these. There are plenty of kittens and pregnant cats available to foster at your local animal rescue or shelter. And that's a really great way to still have kittens around if you love kittens, but be part of the solution. So that's what I always like to recommend for those people who, like me, love having kittens around. So Wesley is currently in the vestibule to this, so like the kind of front room that attaches to this room. They do have a window so they can see each other, but he is still a kitten and very enthusiastic and loves to wrestle, and was kind of following her into the nest for wrestling when she was in her pre-labor. And so we just wanted to make sure that she could have a safe, focused delivery without him coming in and wanting to play. And so we're going to do kind of a supervised reunion with them once she's had a chance to rest today. So she's still having some quite hard contractions. The first kitten is always the hardest. We always sit here just on the edge of our seats waiting for that first kitten to come out. So the feline uterus has 2 horns, and each kitten will be lined up along each horn, and they each have their own placenta and their own sac, and they're born inside the sac, and then usually a few contractions later the placenta will come out, and then the mom will need to tear off the membrane that's keeping them enclosed in the sac, and then start clearing their mouth and nose and stimulating them to breathe. And then she will cut the umbilical cord and often eat the placenta. So we're about 10 minutes into her active labor. you can see some kitten movement inside her belly there. We like to see the first kitten born within about 20 or 30 minutes of active labor starting. So when it goes beyond that, I start to get worried. But at this point, we're in great shape. She's having strong contractions. She's looking calm. And so we just have to wait for her to push that baby out. This is one of our backup nests because we have so many cats and kittens right now. This is not it's not the best one, but it works. So she's pushing really, really well. So Buttercup is feral, although we have been working really hard on her social skills, and she does love Auntie Suzanne, one of our snugglers. So she is still hissy and kind of wappy sometimes, but also has started to enjoy being petted and definitely loves playtime and food. So ideally with our ferals, we try to stay out of the room and let them just do what they need to do, and we only intervene if it's absolutely necessary because we're trying to keep their stress levels as low as possible. It's really important to try to reduce their stress as much as possible, and they think that we are predators, and so for us to be around during the birth is it's quite stressful for most of them. But we have had the advantage with Buttercup of several weeks to get to know her and help her feel safe and comfortable with us. So now you can see those are some very intense contractions, very fast. So at this point, I'm expecting to see a kitten at any moment. We did blood type Buttercup. She is type A blood, which means that there is not a risk for neonatal isoerythrolysis, which is a fatal blood type mismatch between mom and kittens. It only happens in moms that are type B, which is Pomelo, our cat that's our other feral catermelon, is type B, so that's one more challenging thing we have to look forward to in a couple of weeks. But Buttercup is type A, so that's wonderful news. So this is taking a lot of effort, this first kitten. But this is it's pretty normal. It's, like I said, pregnancy is not easy or fun. Giving birth is hard work. And in the wild, she would be subject to the weather, and she would have to go hunt for food very quickly and leave the kittens in a vulnerable position. So spaying and neutering can prevent all of that stuff. quite enormous. And it's hard to see with all of her dark floof. It's hard to see what's going on back there. So you might be able to see the sac is starting to bulge out, which means this kitten is in the birth canal and not making a lot of progress. She's pushing really hard. So we like for once we see the kitten starting to come out, we like for all of the kitten to come out pretty quickly because we like to get them breathing and we like to get their circulation going, and it is stressful on them to be in the birth canal for an extended period of time. So, and we know with this being the first kitten, it's going to be the hardest one to deliver. So she's doing great so far. Really good, strong contractions. Everything's looking normal. Other than we would love to see that kitten come out with one of these big contractions. I would really love to see that kitten come out more. So it's starting to look at this point like it's a breech birth, which isn't super uncommon in cats. But when it's the first kitten, they really need the head to be first to help open everything up. Otherwise, the head can get stuck inside. So it's a little... Hi, buddy. That's my cat meowing. So it's a little more stressful when it's the first kitten and it's a breech, especially when she's pushing so hard. So at this point, I was glad that we were not live, because I was starting to get nervous, very nervous. So it's been, at this point, about 20 minutes of very strong contractions. So 20 minutes is a good amount of time for a kitten to be in the birth canal. 30 minutes is okay. Once we start to get longer than that, we start to get pretty nervous. But you can see, again, she's not making a lot of progress here, despite some really, really good pushes. So she's trying a different position now, still having those big, strong contractions. And the only thing that we can do at this point is just keep watching and waiting. And we do have the option of a C-section if the situation becomes critical. But we use that only as a method of last resort when it's an emergency, because it's risky for the babies and adds a lot of stress for mom. And they often are able to push out even these big babies, especially if she's young and strong. She has a much better chance of being able to push this baby out rather than having to go to an emergency vet where we don't know how long we'll have to wait. And it's a stressful environment. So at this point, the best thing to do is wait and just suffer along with her. I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I feel every one of those pushes. I just want that baby to come out. So another thing we worry about when we have this long of birth for the first kitten is that she's going to use all of her energy pushing out the first kitten and then may not have the strength to finish with the rest of the kittens. So lots of things that I'm monitoring for in these situations. So she's trying a new position to see if that can get her anywhere. She's working really hard. And it also doesn't help. She's so huge. She can't really reach back there to do any grooming or try to help that baby come out at all. She just has to push, and she's doing a really good job. But it's so hard. That's my cat Bunny. Bunny's gonna go over here for a minute. That was my cat. So, still pushing through her little face. She's working so hard. Got this, Mama. Oh, she is working so hard. So it is a bit concerning that the kitten has not come out yet. And now she's thinking about leaving the nest. find somewhere else to push. Oh, she's still pushing so hard. It is really hard to watch. This is one of the reasons I think it's important to show the births, because we all have this kind of magical feeling about the miracle of birth, but the reality is it's hard and it's harsh and it's unforgiving. And most cats aren't lucky enough to be rescued in time. So Buttercup's one of the lucky ones. She doesn't have to do this again. So she's out in the room pushing.
Yeah, get in there. Oh, good girl.
So this is a little bit
Come on. Got her. Keep going.
this is a little bit skipped ahead because I ran over there and
Give me big pushes.
because she went out of the nest, I wanted to make sure that she didn't have a kitten on the floor or and I wanted to see what was going on with the kitten. So
Get that baby. Let me get that baby. No. Okay, you can bite me if you need to. Okay. Okay, come on. Oh gosh, you're a big baby. Okay. Okay, come on, big baby. I'm just helping you. I'm getting the baby going, okay? You're okay, Mama. I got you. I got you. Okay. All right, I got you. Hi, baby. It's nice to meet you. Boy, was that a rough start. All right, sweetie pie. Let me get your. Come on, baby. Breathe. Breathe for me. Oh my goodness. Okay, sweetie. It's your turn. I think you got it.
so he finally came out and she was super exhausted and couldn't quite reach back there. So I'm just helping her to clear the membrane and get the baby breathing.
Good job, Mama. There you go. Good job.
And then she started taking care of the baby.
So good.
And she was being really, really good about me helping. I will post some video on Tiny Tapeworms of the first kitten because this angle wasn't the best, but I did I did take some video that I will post on Tiny Tapeworms on Facebook.
Okay. Oh, good job. Are we still attached? Or we're good? Okay. Here, I can get rid of this placenta for you. I don't wanna. So it's icky. But you don't have to eat that. And then here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna take this very beautiful boy baby. 118. Here, mama. Go in there. Yep, get in there. Here. A little snack for you too, okay? Get in there. There, perfect. Oh, good girl. Very bad, okay. Good job, mama. Where are we? Oh, where is it? Oh my. That's that one. Here's the sweet. There you go. I just wanted to check.
Just checking for cleft palate, but he looks really good.
Okay, sweetie, let's get this out of your way, okay? I'm gonna put it right outside the door. So that it doesn't get in your way. Find something to prop it on, okay?
It's really nice that she's letting me be in there and interact with her and the kitten.
Okay. Okay, Mama. Super proud of you.
So it was actually about almost an hour of the kitten being born. We were out in the room there together pushing, and I was helping brace her legs so she could push harder.
You did such a good job. I'm very proud of you.
So I was quite pleased that this baby was okay.
Oh, nice.
But now that the first baby's out, the rest should hopefully, in theory, be a little bit easier. And she's already working on number 2 there. And there we go. Kitten number 2 has just popped out.
Fill your snacks, okay? You're great.
You can see this kitten inside the sack still squirming, ready to get out.
Drink up. The rest of these kittens out.
You can see kitten number 1 looks really good.
Good job, Mama. I'm here if you need me.
The first kitten is just a few grams smaller than Panda, our preemie kitten, who is 17 days old today. And still hanging on, but just a few grams bigger than this newborn kitten. And there's baby number 2. Actually, I think that's I think actually that's still kitten number 1 that we're seeing now. So she's working on getting the second kitten out of the sack and getting the breathing stimulated, clearing the fluid from the mouth and the nose. Everything's looking really good so far. Now that we got the first kitten out, the second one was just a few pushes. And there's a little face right there. We have a little tutsie. Can see it. Tiny foot. Buttercup's doing amazingly well though. She's very attentive. Focusing a lot of attention on the kittens, which is such a nice, such a refreshing change from our last couple of births. With our feral moms have been so overwhelmed and stressed and she gets a little nervous when they squeak. She does little nervous growls. Just because she's feeling nervous. They're definitely a vocal bunch. her placentas were quite challenging. They seemed pretty large and chewy. Challenging placentas, so she's got a lot of work to do. You can see the other kittens still moving around inside on their way to the exit. There's a little tuxie face. There they both are. So they're both looking really good. There's a little white paw. So cute. It is going to be interesting, I think. It's going to be hard to tell kittens from mama. They're just all going to blend into each other except for the occasional white paw. So she's helping stimulate the kitten, get the circulation going, get the breathing going, and it looks like, oh yeah, that's number 2, front and center there. Still quite wet. And there's the placenta. There's an umbilical cord flung across the back of number 1. I helped her out with the first placenta, but it's a very good microphone in there for all the slurping. So much placenta. So, 2 healthy babies so far. First one's a boy. Birth weight was 118 grams, which is very good. Quite hefty. We like them to be 100 grams when they're born for the best chance of survival and doing well. And so number 3 is on the way. Now she's starting to have some more contractions. We are expecting about 4 kittens, although it was a little hard to tell because she's a really good eater. And so her stomach and her bowels were quite full when we took her x-rays, so sometimes there are kittens hiding in there. But she still has a lot of energy and is having nice, strong contractions. And there we go. There's kitten number 3. So she's she's doing great. That the first kitten was so hard, but helped open everything up so that she can be really efficient with number 2 and number 3. So just to recap for people who are just joining us, this is Buttercup. She's a teenage feral catermelon who was trapped along with her brother a couple of weeks ago so that she could give birth for the last time somewhere safe. And she and her babies will all be spayed and neutered, and her brother's already been neutered. And we show the births live so that people can witness, the miracle of birth without letting their own cats have kittens, and so that everyone can see how hard it is, and that it is not gentle or beautiful or easy, and hopefully we can inspire some of you watching to become advocates for spaying and neutering if you aren't already. And if you love having kittens around, go to your local shelter or rescue, and they're always looking for foster parents to take in rescue cats that are pregnant, or kittens that need a little bit of socialization, and then that way you are part of the solution and not contributing to the problem. So thanks for tuning in. This is fortunately the last time Buttercup will ever have to go through this. We're very happy about that. It has been difficult for her, but at least she is somewhere safe. She has food. She doesn't have to go out and hunt and leave the kittens where they might get hypothermia or taken by predators. So she's working on kitten number 3 now, getting him breathing and clearing the fluid, and I don't think she has pushed out the placenta yet, so the next set of contractions will probably be the placenta coming out. I recorded her birth earlier this morning because we've had some pretty traumatic births. The last couple of our last 2 births have been really difficult, and I needed to know that things were going to be okay before I showed everyone else live, just because there's been so much. We've just had a really rough, I guess it's been almost a month. And I just wanted to know what was coming. And because it is a lot of additional stress to have people watching when I don't know what's happening or going to happen. So it is delayed. This did happen a couple of hours ago. But it was the best way for me to be able to still show everybody, and also know that we weren't going to have another situation like we've had with our last 2 very complicated births. So just a little bit of midwife trauma, a midwife trauma delay. But I think it's probably also less stress for you guys watching. So I'm narrating live right now, but she did give birth a few hours ago. Thank you for wanting to be part of the solution. That's awesome. So you guys are seeing everything that happened, aside from a couple of the bad camera angles during the first kitten's birth when she was going around the room. You guys are seeing everything that did happen. It's just that the first kitten would have been quite stressful for, I think, all of us. So I'm glad that it worked out this way. Anyway, you can see there's still at least one kitten moving around inside her belly. So we're not done yet. So looks like number 2 is looking for the milk bar. Number 3 is, so there's number 2's little tuxie face. She just has like a little tiny white stripe down her nose. And number 3 is a panther. So I will post some videos of number 1 being born on Tiny Tapeworms on Facebook. And for those of you who would like to see more close up what it was like, because I don't have enough, I don't have a good enough setup in that room to have cameras outside the room. So she was off camera most of the time that she was outside of the nest. But I did take some videos while I was trying to remember to breathe. So Wesley spent his early morning in the vestibule that is outside of this room. So there is a window that they could see each other through. But he's so full of kitteny enthusiasm that he was jumping into the nest after her and trying to wrestle with her. And I was concerned that he might be distracting and not helpful. So he is still outside of the outside in the vestibule, and we are going to do a supervised visit and just make sure that he can contain himself, contain his excitement, give her a little chance to rest. We did blood type Buttercup. She's type A blood, so we don't have to worry about the blood type mismatch. We will have to worry about that with Pomelo when she gives birth in a couple of weeks. So that's the next thing on our list of things to be anxious about. But Buttercup being through her final birth is one less thing on the list to be anxious about. So I guess there's a balance. So Panda, our 17-day-old tiny preemie, is still fighting. We were a little bit concerned overnight, but she's pretty stable so far. Just for comparison, she weighs about 128 grams at 17 days old, and Buttercup's firstborn kitten weighed 118 grams. So just to give you an idea of how much of a preemie and how fragile our little feline leukemia kittens are and were. So I see a few questions about whether we're going to put Panda in with these guys, and the answer is no, because we know that she was exposed to feline leukemia from her mom, and it wouldn't be safe to mix her with this group. So Panda is continuing to be our little incubator baby and getting her bottle feeds every 2 to 3 hours around the clock. And her prognosis is still quite guarded, but we're doing everything we can do, and we're making sure that whether her life is 17 days long or 17 years long, we're giving her the best life that she can possibly have, 1 hour at a time. So I will have Panda at my house tonight for actually this afternoon and tonight for the overnight shift. So I'll try to do a bottle feeding so you guys can see how she's doing. But there's our little pile of panthers. They're so cute. It is a huge relief though to see healthy, strong looking kittens, and to have Buttercup be doing such an amazing job with them. You guys haven't missed anything, except for some like empty nest shots. So I know people are talking about censorship. There's honestly, like, you haven't missed anything except what was off camera, because I don't have cameras in every corner of the room. Everything that happened in the nest, so you're seeing. There's some more placental magic happening there. It's very chewy and stringy. Thank you so much to everyone who's donating. We really, really appreciate it. And to anyone who isn't able to donate, thank you for watching. And you can help support the cause by advocating for spaying and neutering and feral cats and compassion, which the world also needs very badly. And there is some more placenta action. Ooh, I just got my first vaccine appointment. That's exciting. I'm gonna get my first COVID vaccine tomorrow. Yay. It's exciting. Total digression. I got a text message about my appointment. Got distracted. So the placenta does provide lots of calories and nutrients to the moms, but it can also give them diarrhea. So we don't prevent them from eating a placenta, but we also don't encourage it. It's not essential to their health or anything like that. It's just it is instinctively what they do. Sorry, I sort of created a roll call. Sorry, not mods. Oh. There goes some more placenta. I always do an unintended roll call. I'm lucky to still have anyone who's willing to be a mod. And there's more placenta action happening. So we're still at 3 kittens. She's been basically licking and chewing this entire time between trying to get the kittens going and dealing with those. Generously proportioned placentas and the umbilical cords. Oh, let's see. Anyone who thinks that I was censoring things. Oh, look at them. They're so big and healthy looking. Hi, Bartlett. Look at they're also vigorous trying to get to the milk bar. She's working so hard. That's Bartlett, you hear meowing. Now he's come for his snuggles. The miracle kitten was a very good boy. He gave me moral support while all this was happening. Now he's napping. So far we have 2 panthers and 1 adorable tuxie. You can see some placenta still lurking back there. It's very important that we get 1 placenta out per kitten, because if they retain a placenta, it can cause an infection that can become fatal actually very quickly. So we want to make sure that we get all those placentas out. It is a huge relief to see such enthusiastic, strong babies. So we're expecting at least 1 more kitten. And if you look at her belly, you probably can see him rolling around in there. There's some placenta. Can you imagine, like, after all that chewing she's been doing and there's still that much placenta left? Her poor little jaw muscles need a rest. And that's still as big as that kitten. Yes, they did get some excellent prenatal nutrition, deworming, which is important. Oh man. Please do not feel obligated to donate. We are very grateful for donations, and that's how we continue to do the work we do. But we know that there is a global pandemic going on, and many of you will have other things you need to spend your money on, and so we want everyone to just be able to enjoy watching and learn about spaying and neutering, and are grateful for those who support us, those who advocate for spaying and neutering, and of course also those who donate. Because it does take a village to do what we do. She did get a little snack after the first kitten was born, and she does have a huge bowl of food right outside the door. Like, she doesn't even have to leave the nest. But she's so busy with the placentas, I don't think she's probably even had a chance to think about eating. This is one of our backup nests because we have so many cat situations going on at the moment. It is one of our smaller nests, but it is a perfect size for this stage. It will be quite cozy when Wesley tries to squeeze himself in there, but I think they like being cozy. It is hard to tell between mama feet, tails, kittens. We were secretly hoping for maybe like a baby Wesley or two in the mix. But it's probably good that we didn't get one. But he is so cute. His little face. So we're still at 3 kittens, 2 panthers, 1 tuxie. There's a contraction. Okay, so we're starting to get underway for number 4. She's doing such a good job. She's giving them access to the milk bar. She's cleaned up all that placenta. Oh. And now she's still got a little more work to do. Hopefully just one more kitten. You can see, though, even being young and healthy and having really good nutrition, how hard this is. And also a smaller litter. Imagine poor Kiwi. Kiwi's a bit older and had 7 kittens and a 16-hour interrupted labor. So it's not really surprising that Kiwi took a few days to be able to start caring for her babies. But now Kiwi's doing amazing and her babies are super healthy. So here we go, pushing again for number 4. She's still doing pretty good contractions. She's definitely looking tired, but still able to push Oh, I did accidentally mute. Oh, you didn't miss anything exciting. Just ramblings. She's still working on kitten number 4. She's starting to get tired. But she's still looking really good. You know it has to happen at least once. The muting, me talking to myself. Oh, those are some big contractions happening. Aw. She's looking pretty tired, but still doing a lot of work. There's some more big pushes. So hopefully we'll have kitten number 4 soon. I was only in the room for the first kitten. Once she left the nest, I was struggling. And I went in to see if I could help her. Still working on number 4. Oh, and she's looking really exhausted now. Poor thing. We all just want this to be over. Little tuxie, possibly latched on in a very adorable position. Kittens nursing helps to stimulate hormones that help with contractions and milk production and bonding. So it is important for kittens to be able to nurse during and immediately after the labor. She did already have a snack after the first kitten. And she does have a giant bowl of food. All she has to do is stick her head out of the door. but I don't think she has any time for food right now. She's been pretty busy with all the giant placentas and the cleanup. And now trying to get number 4 out. You got this, Mama. Some good hard contractions. Hopefully we can get this done soon. Oh. Oh, she's trying so hard. See, I would never want my cats to have to go through this. Even under the best of circumstances, it's not easy. She's gonna have like a sore tongue muscle too. So Wesley, he's a tabby, tuxie, but his tabby is a pattern, not a color. So his color is actually black. So it is possible that he could be the baby daddy for some or all of these kittens. Although I would expect in that case, at least some of them to have a tabby pattern. Okay, Mommy. Okay, here we go. Boys get their color from mom, and girls get one color from mom, one from dad. Okay. Come in, Mama. So close. Oh, you can see how hard she's working. There's kitten number 4. You can see the sack there. She's having a little trouble. So I'm guessing kitten number 4 may be a breech also, and she's having a little trouble with the head. Trying to get more leverage. Oh, there's number 4. And again, looks very similar to the situation with number 1. Except now she's been pushing for a couple of hours and she's exhausted. Come on, Mama, you got this. She is definitely exhausted at this point and having a difficult time getting that kitten out. You can see the sack bulging out there. Oh, she just has to. Oh, poor thing. We just want to give her a hug. Okay. And unfortunately, there's nothing that I can do to help her at this point. There. Oh, giant head, not breech. It's a little tuxy face. Come on, Mama. The rest is going to be easy. One big push. One big push. The body should be easy to push out. Oh. Ah, there. Okay. Almost out. Almost out. So you can see the kitten is still in the sack. So she needs to get that sack open and clear the fluids from the mouth and nose in order to get the kitten breathing. So this is uncensored rescue reality right here. This is hard. It's hard to watch. And it's hard to know that Buttercup's one of the lucky ones who's got medical care and good nutrition and deworming and a safe place to give birth. In the wild, only one of these 4 kittens would survive. So she would have to lose 3 of her kittens. And there's little number 4 still in the sack, so she's going to get to work on the sack now, but you can see some very vigorous activity there. Kitten trying to escape the sack. You know I wanted to get in there and get that kitten cleaned up and breathing. But she's got it under control. The kitten is out. We're waiting on the placenta. So the kitten is still tethered to her by the placenta and still partially enclosed in the amniotic sac. So mom still has a little bit of work to do to get the breathing going. To get the membranes off of the face, clear the fluid from the nose and mouth, and they do some very vigorous licking to stimulate circulation and breathing. So this is a little bit hard to watch. It's hard for me to watch too. But again, this is reality, and the best thing to do for me to do at this point is just monitor and be ready to run over there in case something goes wrong, like I did for the first kitten. But you can see that number 4 looks strong, and that she is working on him. So. So, I think that there were only 4 kittens. I think she's done, except for the placenta. I couldn't feel any more kittens when I went in to check on her. But she is quite pudgy and still has probably some fluid in there. So she still has the placenta that she needs to push out. And until that happens, the kitten is tethered to her hind quarter area. And so is just going to lay there and wait for her to push out the placenta so that he can start looking for the milk bar. So, and because she's so exhausted now at this point and has so much still cleaning to do, she has a lot going on, so she's kind of dividing her attention between the kittens and the kittens that were already born and the new kitten. So, but he's in a good spot. He's laying between her tail and her body, so he's staying warm, which is something that is important. And his nose and mouth are clear so that he can breathe. And so those are the things that I am concerned with when they're born is we want them breathing and we want them warm. So you can see by the color of his very pink nose that he is oxygenating himself. We would see that pink turn bluish, purplish, if he wasn't getting oxygen. And so it is very helpful of them when they are born with like pink noses and toes, because it's a bit easier to monitor that sort of thing from afar. And now we're going to have some enthusiastic umbilical cord maintenance. I think that's kitten number 3. And then she's going back to stimulate kitten number 4 some more. And so even though he's just kind of laying there, it's because he's trapped because of the placenta, and he has nowhere to go. And that's kind of what they do. They just lay there and conserve energy and oxygen until mom gets them fully stimulated and cleared out, and then they get detached from the placenta, and then they're free to start making their way toward the milk bar. So, although it may be a bit nerve-wracking to see him kind of laying there upside down, not moving too much, he is doing okay. He's oxygenating, he's warm, and that's what we care about. The rest will happen. So I had a quick look at the 4 of them, and I think we have 3 boys and 1 girl. I think the first Tuxie is a girl. All of their palates look wonderful, so no one has a cleft palate. Their birth weights were spectacular. Let me see. So the little Puxy girl is smallest at 112, and the boys that were hard to push out are both 118. The other panther's 116. So I am probably going to have to put collars on the panthers because they're very close in weight. They're both boys. And they are going to disappear into all of that floof, that glorious panther floof. Babies of unusual size, yes. Exactly. So I think that she's done at 4. Once I'm finished with this, I will head back over there. She is resting. Resting now. They all appear to be latched at the milk bar. She's had a snack. And so I was able to put a dry blanket on top, but I would like to put in some dry blankets and then give Wesley an opportunity to have a supervised visit to see how he does. We would really love for them to be able to raise the kittens together. Just have to make sure that he's not too overly exuberant. He does get very excited about playtime, and he's a very mighty hunter. And so we just want to make sure that he is able to contain his excitement. And that she's okay. I assume that she will be very okay with him being there. And probably happy to see him. But we just want to be a little bit careful. We're probably being over cautious because, well, when I say we, I am, because of all the birthing neonatal kitten trauma that we humans have experienced in the last couple of weeks, but also the last, several years. It all accumulates. And we have to be very careful about our mental health because it's easy in the job that we do, the work that we do. It's very easy to become overwhelmed and unhealthy from a mental health perspective. So we do have a grief trauma loss counselor available to us. Anyone who's on the TinyKittens team for any reason. And I'm trying to encourage everybody on the team to talk to her. Especially during times like these. And also self-care is very important. And it's something that we are sort of conditioned to feel guilty about or to feel selfish taking time to take care of ourselves. But let me tell you, it is super important, and probably the only thing that has gotten me through the last couple of weeks is taking a little bit of time here and there to, go outside or do something different. You have to do that. So that's my lecture for this hour. Oh, such a cute little taxi. So number 4 is still hanging out, waiting for some placenta to come out. Kittens on the loose on the Kiwi stream. Did they make a run for it? Those little scamps. We have our hands full over here. That much is for sure. I see. Oh, look at them. Little monsters. There, I'll change to the room view. Of course it's Cassie. And is that you? Oh, Mama is. we do have another live stream in case you're new to this one. We have 2 live streams with kittens now. You can go to tinykittens.com/live and you'll see whatever we have live at the moment. Oh my gosh, there's another one. Little monsters. So if you need a smile, you can go see the little escapees. There's 4 left behind in the nest. 2 free-range kittens. So back to the Buttercup nest. Still working on the placenta. She's gonna have to have a few good pushes probably to get that placenta out, because I feel like I recall this being exceptionally large placenta also. So I don't know how Kiwi feels about these kittens. Yeah, so we will be ready for a nest expansion down in the Kiwi room at some point soon-ish, I think. I guess. Apparently. And they're just so pleased with themselves. Okay, so Buttercup's looking very good. 4 kittens. They're all looking very robust, and she's doing an amazing job. We're just waiting on the 4th placenta to come out so that the 4th kitten can be unleashed. All right, so it'll take a couple of good contractions to get that last placenta out. Looks like she's working on that now. It's a huge relief to have this birth over with. With everything else we've had going on, it's just been one thing that I've been worrying about, especially because of how hard Cleo and Kiwi's litters were, and Cleo's continue to be. And then we've got Pomelo's coming up in a couple of weeks, and Pomelo's type B blood. So we have to worry about that one too. But we hopefully will have a couple of weeks to sort of recover from the preemie situation, which has been really exhausting and sad and discouraging and perplexing. And kiwis are doing wonderfully now, as you can see if you're watching on that stream. And now buttercups are out and safe, hopefully. Looking as good as they can be looking, at least at this point. Oh, will the rogue kittens return to the kiwi nest? I shouldn't comment on the kiwi situation because it's just going to confuse people. It is funny though. So Panda is still hanging in there. We were pretty concerned last night. So I don't know what the outcome is going to be for Panda. Panda is the last remaining of our preemie kittens who were born to a mom who has feline leukemia. Should have been spayed. A spay could have prevented everything that happened to her. But she did. She was pregnant with 5 kittens. She miscarried 1. We didn't get the call to help her until she had given birth to the first 3, and 1 had passed away then. And so we got her. She still had the miscarried kitten and 1 more kitten inside of her. And then the 2 kittens that she had given birth to earlier that were hypothermic and hypoglycemic and non-responsive and in rough shape. So Panda's one of those 2 kittens. And it's been 17 days that we've been providing intensive care. We lost the first of the 3 6 days ago, 7 days ago maybe. And then we lost Paisley yesterday, the second one. And so we're just down to Panda. And at 17 days old, she weighs 128 grams. And so to give you some context, Buttercup's firstborn and fourthborn kittens both weigh 118 grams. So after 17 days of us fighting and providing every possible supportive medical treatment that we can, Panda's only 10 grams more than these guys. So that's been a tough situation. It's been very exhausting and draining. But we just have to wait and keep doing what we're doing. And science and biology will do the rest. Oh, did all the kittens get back in the nest? Okay, I'll switch. She lured them in with the milk bar. Or maybe they herded her in. So I'm seeing lots of little white parts flailing about there in the buttercup nest. So I'm not sure if she has released the umbilical cord for number 4. But they are all looking very good. Panda cannot be added to this group because she has exposure in utero to feline leukemia. and has a high risk of having feline leukemia, and it is transmitted through saliva and bodily fluids and milk and transplacentally. And so if we put her in with another litter, she would potentially expose all of them to feline leukemia. So we can't do that, unfortunately. We don't know. There is definitely a reason that Panda is not thriving after 17 days. She should weigh like 300 or 400 grams. Maybe not 400. Like around 300 grams probably. And so there's a reason she's not absorbing nutrients very well from her food. It may be feline leukemia. It may be congenital defects from being premature. Feline leukemia causes birth defects. Also, which we know was responsible for the one kitten that was miscarried, had severe birth defects. And so I think the likelihood that there is an issue is definitely pretty strong. But there's no way to know until we either get her healthy or lose her. So we're doing everything we can. We've given the serum injections, and she's on antibiotics, and there's very specific medical and feeding protocols. We've been advised by the founder of the National Kitten Coalition, who has the most experience with this kind of situation, and obviously our vet team. So we're confident that we're doing everything that we possibly can do. And so it's just one of those situations we have to wait and see. We were able to run a feline leukemia test on Paisley and are hoping to have results tomorrow. We don't know how accurate those results might be, but it is something that we wanted to try to find out. There's just no information, unfortunately, but I'm trying to understand that situation better. Anyway, Buttercup, though, is very healthy, and we have been super careful to not expose her to anything from the other cats in our care, her or Wesley. Wesley was able to be vaccinated, but we don't have access to our vaccines that we were using for pregnant cats anymore, so we just have to be extra careful. But there's our little number 4 kitten, looking quite strong. And poor little Buttercup is looking exhausted. She's just zoning out at the moment. So, I will have Panda here at my house for the night, for the evening. And so if she's doing okay, I will maybe try to do a live bottle feeding at some point. so you guys can see how she's doing. All we can do is make sure that however many days she has with us are as comfortable and happy as possible. And that's what we're doing. And now little Buttercup gets to rest, and we will retire that uterus. That uterus has got to be very stretched out right now from these enormous kittens. So we will look forward to retiring that uterus in a couple of months once the kittens are old and weaned. And of course the kittens will all be spayed and neutered. And we will continue working on Buttercup and Wesley's social skills. She was very, very good when I went in to weigh the kittens and check their palates and everything. She was, and it's probably a lot due to exhaustion, but I was encouraged that she did let me take the kittens quickly and weigh them and check them out. She wasn't like completely thrilled about it, but she wasn't, she let me do it. And look how exhausted she is. She's just so exhausted, poor little thing. And number 4 is quite vigorous. I can't quite tell if he's still tethered to his massive placenta. It seems like their umbilical cords were extraordinarily long and their placentas were enormous. But he's getting in there though. Ah, goodness. It's nice that we have some white paws in there so we can see some things. Oh, look how exhausted she is, poor little Buttercup. So she's quite exhausted, but looking pretty good. Let's see. Oh, so tired, so much work. So this is why we spay and neuter everybody. This is hard, it's no fun. It's not fair for her to have to go through this. Thank you to everybody who has tuned in and who has supported us in many different ways, and anyone who's an advocate for spaying and neutering, or feral cats, compassion, all of those things. We need more of all those things in the world. So, let's see. I think let me see if I can get to the weighing. Oh, there. I don't want you to miss the placenta eating. So finally the placenta came out. And those kittens seem to love frolicking in the placentas. Such a good job, Mama. Get that little ninja kitten kicking. She's got the placenta on her foot. Like a butler with his towel. Look how big it is. So this goes on for a while. I told you guys it was big. I would not hyperbolize something so important. Exaggerate? Okay, so I'm going to let you guys enjoy some placenta eating, and I'm going to try to get dressed and go over. We'll switch to real time, and I'll go over and see if Wesley wants to come for a visit and see if I can get her onto some nice, clean, dry blankets. We have another busy day today, so look at that. Look at that umbilical string. I think Brienne's going to do the 2 o'clock feeding for Panda, and then I will have her here for the 5 o'clock feeding. So enjoy this for a few more minutes, and then I will switch it over. I have to move anyway. I have to do some computer stuff, but to get it set up over there again. But so I will switch to the live soon, and we'll see. We'll see if Wesley wants to visit. We'll see how that goes. And then I do think that might be the record holding placenta. I don't think I've seen one that big. It was impressive for sure. So anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you to the mods and to everyone who has supported us financially or otherwise, and everyone who is an advocate for spaying, neutering, compassion, helping feral cats in their neighborhoods. And I'm going to mute this intentionally this time. And then I'll see you shortly in the polka dot room as soon as I can get everything moved over there. All right. Thanks again, everybody.